Hello, busy dads, busy people everywhere, a very warm welcome. If you're new here, this is the channel all about the Busy Dad program. The Busy Dad program is a simple, effective and time-efficient training protocol that I've been following for the past 17 months, week in, week out. It's gotten me into the best shape of my life, and the crazy thing about my program is it only requires a weekly time commitment. Weekly, not daily, of just 80 minutes. If you can scrape together 80 minutes from within your week, and if you are okay to train according to the protocols that I set forth in my program, then I promise you will see amazing training results, just as I have done. Now, although the Busy Dad program is a training protocol, not a dietary protocol, and although I make no prescriptions at all about what diet you should follow as part of my program, nevertheless, many of you have been asking me to share the details of my own approach to nutrition, and I am very happy to do that with you. And so what I'm going to do is, for the next few months, every Wednesday, I am going to release a video outlining an important principle from my own approach to training. There's too much to condense into one video, so instead we're going to release a weekly video explaining one important principle that has helped me shape my own approach to nutrition. As usual, I want to make all of the same riders that people ordinarily make, which is I'm no nutritionist, I don't have a stake in the diet wars, it's really not important to me whether or not you follow my diet, but nevertheless, I do think that some of the approaches that I've discovered could be very beneficial to you, and so I'm very happy to share on the assumption that you understand that it's really not important on this channel that you follow any particular diet. What's really important is that you start training according to the protocols set forth by the Busy Dad program. Okay, so in today's video, the first in our series of nutritional videos, I'm going to talk about intermittent fasting. Intermittent fasting is a very important part of my own nutritional protocol. It's something I've been doing strictly for the past 4 years, and it's something that I would strongly recommend to pretty much anyone. If you're unfamiliar with the way intermittent fasting works, let me briefly talk you through the protocol I follow. So I break my daily 24 hours into a 16-8 structure. What that means is that for 16 hours of any given 24, I do not consume any calories. And then in 8 hours of each 24, I have an eating window in which I'm consuming my calories. I stick to that 16-8 structure pretty much every day of the year. Occasionally, I will fast for a bit longer than that. Occasionally, the fasting window ends up being slightly shorter, but the default day for me looks like a 16-8 structure. So why do I do that? Well, I think it's helpful to think of the body a little bit like a hybrid car. Just like a hybrid car can run on two kinds of fuel, it can run on gas and it can run on electricity. In the same way, the human body can also run on two kinds of fuel. You can run your body on sugar, but you can also use stored fat within the body for energy. Now, just as most people don't drive electric, just as most people primarily or only use gas to operate their cars, in the same way, most people spend an entire lifetime deriving their energy from sugar. The reason for that is it takes about 12 hours without putting any calories into the system for your body to transition from sugar to stored fat as its source of fuel. And since most people never go 12 hours without eating, most people never know what it's like to be getting their energy from stored fat. But if it takes 12 hours for you to make that transition, and if you're fasting for 16 hours a day, that means that right off the bat when you take up fasting, you're spending 4 hours a day getting your energy from your body's own reserves of fat. And it gets better than that. The more accustomed that you get to fasting, the quicker your body can transition into what's called a fat-adapted state, in which it's getting its energy from stored fat. I've been practicing intermittent fasting, as I said, for about 4 years now, and so it's reasonable to assume that it's only taking my body about 6 to 8 hours to transition into a fat-adapted state. What that means is that for up to 10 hours of any given day, I am deriving my energy from stored fat. So I am gnawing into my body's stored fat supplies to keep myself going. And that means that it is very hard for me to maintain a very high body fat percentage throughout the year. I would have to work really quite hard, harder than the average person, to put on fat. So the main benefit of fasting for your physique is that it makes it very hard to put on fat. But another really special thing about fasting is the way things feel to you when you do transition to that alternative energy source. Okay, life in a fat adapted state is amazing. Your testosterone levels are higher, and in general, your energy is super high. Okay, at the beginning when you transition to fasting, it's a little bit difficult, you feel a little bit hungry, but it's really not very long in my experience and the experience of people I've spoken to, until you feel very comfortable in the fat adapted state. For me, I tend to wake up at about 5 o'clock every morning and break the fast at around 11. And those first 6 hours of the day are the most energetic, the most happy, the most vital hours of my day. So both for your physique and just for your general energy levels, I strongly recommend intermittent fasting. It's also said to have some fairly significant long-term health benefits. In addition, I'm a strong advocate of fasted training. Every single burpee session that I complete within my fasted window, usually towards the end. In every video you've seen of me training, it's been 14, 15 or 16 hours since I've had any calories entering into my system. In my opinion, there is a real psychological edge you can get if you go into your workouts thinking that you are using an alternative energy source to get through this workout, that you are tapping into your kind of ancient hunter-gatherer self. Okay, I find that I'm alert, I'm super focused, and I'm very energetic throughout my workouts. I don't think that fasting has had any kind of impairment on my performance. If anything, I think it's the opposite. I overcame my fear of fasted training back in my powerlifting days. One morning at the gym, I hit some big squat PRs, and I realized when I got home that I'd never taken my smoothie out of the blender. I'd forgotten to have my breakfast, but I'd smashed out a 2-hour workout and hit some serious PRs. Okay, that got me completely over my fear of fasted training. And I think both for kind of mental strength and just because it feels really good, I strongly advocate fasted training. There's a very pleasing simplicity to your life if you're a person who fasts. Okay, I'm a busy dad. I don't want to mess around first thing in the morning making coffee, making breakfast. Instead, I jump out of bed at 5 o'clock when my daughter wakes up, 10 dead hang pull-ups, a cold shower, a clean shave, and that's me done. I'm ready to start my day. I'm ready to attack whatever it is that I've got to attack. I'm ready to be my best. So my first piece of nutritional advice really isn't about what you eat, but it's about when you eat. Try out that 16-8 intermittent fasting for yourself, okay, and try out burpee training in a fasted state. In my opinion, there is no performance impairment at all, and it's an excellent way of training kind of mental strength and mental toughness. Okay, so that concludes our first nutritional video. Next week, I'm going to talk to you all about my approach to caffeine.